All right, welcome back to another lighting critique. First up, we've got Jordan and the Dino Raptor chase. So I looked through the clip you sent me. It's very exciting. So we've got this little raptor trying to escape from the big T-Rex. So there's lots of movement in the shot, obviously. So you've got lighting that's changing from frame to frame. It's very dynamic. Uh, Yeah, generally it's looking pretty cool, man. I love the shaft of light coming through here and kind of hitting his um, his back and kind of giving shape to his head and neck and tail. So that's a really good way to kind of define the character. And so the eye immediately focuses on the raptor. And as he goes underneath the tree and um, this rim light, this top rim light on the dino is it's looking pretty good, and you got some nice key to fill ratio happening um, on his underside. And I guess my comments would be maybe try rendering it at a higher sampling rate. Obviously you've got here um, you're using some kind of draft quality, so the motion blur and the GI sampling is showing up. You might want to crank up the sampling, and also this this is kind of a pivotal moment where the T-Rex tries to take a big chomp out of the raptor, and it feels like at this point it might be good to try and introduce some light. Try and get some sort of uh, how would you do it? You'd probably get a small area light here and um, try to light up the inside of his mouth a little bit. You see a little bit of fill here, but maybe cheat a light here at this point so that this gets lit up, and also the T-Rex's teeth, because that's a very you want to convey the sense of drama the um, through the possible danger that might um, might happen to this guy if he were if he were to be these teeth were to kind of sink into his back. So emphasize the teeth, maybe cheat some fill into this side of his mouth as if the sunlight's come through, and maybe get this his tongue, get some shaping in there with a cheat in maybe cheat in another light here across. I'm not sure how you do it, maybe here, um, but try to define the tongue as well. um, the raptor is looking pretty good. This rim is doing its thing. His eyes looked a bit kind of bugged out, and maybe get some kind of cheat in another light here, get a rim on this side of his face just to kind of get some contrast going and kind of etch him out from the background. And same here with the T-Rex. um, you know Maybe try and get another you know another another light here to kind of etch him out from the background. um, and then here I feel like maybe you could work on changing either um, the specular qualities on on the T-Rex's skin, or introduce something to kind of, because he feels pretty flat across here, just generally. And it could be, maybe you could introduce like a bounce from the underside to get some shaping here, or cheat in another light here so that you get a little bit of a bit of contour lighting across, maybe this half of his face, as he feels a little bit flat. There's a little bit happening here, so that's that's working really well. It's flattening at the back a little bit, and on top. I'm not sure whether lighting can solve that or whether it's just a shade issue. But again, try and kind of emphasize these teeth here. You may have to cheat in some bounce. Sorry, you may have to cheat in some bounce here to get the teeth to show up a bit more. And then we end up with the raptor jumping and trying to flee at the end, and I would suggest maybe getting a big old either bounce card or a light here to get some shaping. Get some shaping here, because he does flatten out. It's kind of cool as a silhouette, but I feel like maybe you could do with a little bit of fill on this side. But it's a very cool shot. Otherwise, looking really good, Jordan. I love this beginning frame here, and that shaft of light. That's working really well. Alrighty, thank you. Is it XVArts or 15Arts? I'm not sure how to pronounce your handle, but this is it looks like it's coming along, and I see you've tried a few of my suggestions. Moving, this this island or this kind of formation here over to this side, and clearing away for this light source here, this kind of horizon light. I'm not sure at this point though whether you need this kind of green light source anymore, because this light here, is providing a lot of the illumination, and it should suffice, on her face, on her knee and her fin, pretty much the same way you've treated this guy here. He's, obviously he needs a bit more rim on his face, and maybe cheat in a light that is further forward towards camera to get a little bit more light on his face. But it feels a lot better now with that light source on the horizon, and I would work on getting some light to his face using this kind of magenta, kind of purple light on her face. Forget about the green light. I feel like you don't need it now. Bring up the reflections, these pink reflections, a little bit more. You can cheat in some lights, just pointing down, and it might just work if you have them these area lights pointing towards camera, um, just to get that glancing angle on the reflections. But yeah, this could go pink, maroon, magenta, and yeah, the green. I think you can. It feels like at this point it's starting to compete too much um, with this. So I would get rid of that and use that as your main source, and just bring up the fill a touch here at the core. Bring it up here, just a touch, and obviously at the back here with this ice or rock formation, just some rim light and fill in some of these darks here. Bring it up. Sorry, bring it up here. All right, but it's looking really good. Thank you, Holly. So I see that you've lightened the skin on the character, but I feel like there's some kind of artifacting going on her face and her arms, and I'm not sure what it is, but you might want to check it out. I would say generally the background, the fill needs to go down. It needs to feel kind of a little bit mysterious, a little bit. Uh, I guess it needs to recede um, versus the character, and then you could then when you bring down the background, you could bring her up, through. I would introduce a light, you know, either this way or to the side as a kicker, like a kicker light to sort of define. Sorry. Uh, Sorry about that. Um, yeah, like a kicker light. Swing it around so that it hits, more than like a rim would, and maybe light up, do sort of a rim wrap style light where this side of the cheek gets lit up, and yeah, it just feels like if the background recedes a bit more and you bring up her her fill levels, um, that would I guess make her pop from the background a bit more. Um, I would go even more. Um, I'd hit her with that top light pretty much the way you've done with her leg here. Maybe just to kind of again um, etch her out from the background, and you might want to cheat in a light here as well if you need to, um, just to get some more separation from the background. Um, it's probably it's probably a little bit too busy at this point, but maybe one light source here and then a top light, expose up by, I'd go maybe another stop. Something like this feels really good. And so I see that, she kicks him. She kicks this kind of fighting robot. And I just feel like with the robot itself, there is this kind of green reflective quality about it that I don't see that much in the background. So you might want to try and tie the robot in. I would suggest maybe bringing in, I see maybe there's a little bit here, but maybe some um, helper lights or some kicker lights here that are a little bit green. And I get that the green feels like he's a little bit scary, but at the moment it feels like it's hard to read whether the green is actually this inside component of the robot and his um, exoskeleton is transparent. It's hard to read whether it's a reflection because I can't make out where the green light is coming from. Um, so I'm assuming it's a reflected surface, a reflective surface. So yeah, try and introduce that. Um, you know, maybe it could be on the floor. You know, maybe the green's on the floor, and you have some sort of spotlight there, or some kind of light source that alludes to, like a green wash that perhaps acts as a bounce light on him. Um, Background again needs to go down, and I would suggest maybe um, have this top light source being very defined. It could be you could add some Atmo on it that falls off, and then on the ground there, like a more definite delineation of the light hitting the ground. Have a um, uh, very thin sort of fall off here on the spot, and then Atmo, and then you can start to. It gives you a license to kind of etch out her figure some more. I see that you've done that already, but I feel like it kind of needs to be a bit hotter. I'd go another stop, and then again, background can go down, and then you'd bring you kind of etch her out using these using the top light and any sort of helper lights. Maybe it could come from the red here. Maybe she's defined a little bit by that red light there. It could be a total cheat. It doesn't have to be, that particular light there. You could basically fake in a light, nearer to her so that you get the hands and the arms kind of defined. Same on the robot. He could have some red hitting him as well. I see it's happening at these points here. That's really cool. And then what else do we got? Yeah, so at this point here, it'd be nice to get that red light kind of hitting her shoe a bit more. I see you've got a little bit there, but maybe at this point when she kicks him, just to kind of emphasize that she's, kicking him in the stomach there, that her shoe, maybe it goes, maybe it goes really red at this point. And then, yeah, if you have a sort of a very delineated top light there, when he moves out towards screen right, you can have him, bright here, and obviously as he falls out of the light, he gets dark here. He gets darker, and maybe it's just he's just lit by the red light from behind, and his camera side can be, darker. Get some of this red light on her. And then at the end, there's this weird artifacting happening on the robot. Maybe you could check it out. But at the end there, he feels like he needs to kind of sit in the environment more, because it feels like at this point he's just kind of pasted on. So maybe it's some shader work, or whether you could get some contact shadows there working a bit more. I don't know. It's hard because it's a completely metallic, or is very metallic surface. So that might be tricky. But somehow, maybe it could be at this point, he could fall really, really dark. He's out of that light, these lights here. So maybe, and the floor here feels really dark. So maybe at this point, he is just more of a silhouette, and it's just the red light that's defining him. He doesn't have any top light on him, because these reflections, they you could maybe bring them down, but they feel like they're a bit distracting. Alrighty, but yeah, it's a good start. Cheers. Thanks. Andre. Yes, obviously big improvement over previous iteration. I can see that you've got you brought down the camera side fill, which is always good. It feels like it just needs to kind of go down by 3/4 of a stop, and then maybe darken the core here. This can go down. This can go down. She can go down here. Just a touch here. But that's the light. The light source is definitely, that's looking pretty good. And yeah, maybe darken the core here. Here, here, a bit here, a little bit here. But otherwise, it's looking pretty good, man. Thank you. Erin. Yeah, so I see you've introduced this this kind of rim light here. I would add a bit of warmth. Add some warmth there. Take down the fill on this side of her face, so that this pops more. Less fill here. Swing this pink light away from camera, so it's more of a rim than a kicker. Same here. Just have it come to here. This blue light, or this kind of cyan light, swing it around so that there's more of a core here, that she's darker in sort of the middle. I feel like it might be more interesting if you swung this warm light further this way, and then have it hit her face, or her head, and then her face here. So it'd be more, instead of, um, you know, the light hitting her face here, maybe it just starts where her hair is and then comes on top here. And then maybe this pink light can kind of go further down on her face and actually start here and just kind of come across. Yeah, but otherwise it's looking pretty good. Yeah, otherwise looking pretty good. Thanks very much. Thanks. I think that's it for now. But if there's anyone I missed, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Thank you.